All right, so we're gonna go over a couple things right quick. I'm gonna go over the cyber kill chain, and we'll also go over the MITRE ATT&CK framework. Let me pull it up so that way you can have a visual representation of what it looks like. Cyber kill chain is basically the steps that usually a threat actor or adversary will go through step by step to exploit or gain access to your account and do action on objective, which is their initial goals, their accomplishments there. So let's cyber kill chain. Lockheed Martin. All right, let me make this smaller for you guys. All right, so recon, that's usually when they go to LinkedIn or Twitter or any socials to find email addresses. It's a lot of open source tools that can automate this task for you, and this is how they can tailor their attack by gaining information about the subject, okay, to make it seem more legitimate. Weaponization is kind of like we talked about earlier. That's basically writing the code. We put a notepad demonstrating that here, and delivering is usually they may do it through phishing to get it delivered. It could be USB, like removable media. Once they execute whatever that payload or exploit is on their machine as exploitation, and then it's going to install the malware on the asset box, computer host, all of it's the same thing. Okay, you might hear it called a variety of things. Command and control. That's usually where the threat actor has control over their system. It can be physically, it can be remotely. Most times remotely because they have a server set up where they can control the client machine, okay, remotely. And action on objective, that can be defacing the site, that can be exfiltrating data, just making a statement, whatever the threat actor wants to do. Now, I'm going to go over MITRE ATT&CK framework. Let's see, matrices. Make this one a little smaller. Hope y'all can see it. It's similar to the cyber kill chain. However, it's a little bit more specific. It gives more tactics and techniques. So as I mentioned with recon, they can use an MAP scan. That's a tool that can scan for a host on the network. You just put in MAP. You can put in it in verbose mode, which is actually showing detailed information with IP address. They can use social media accounts, just any open source tool or anything that they can require on the web. Resource development. So these, as you can see, acquire access, acquire infrastructure, compromised account. So they can look for data breaches. They can look for key cards. They can clone things like that. That way they can have everything they need to gain initial access. Okay. Now, like we mentioned, initial access can be done through phishing, as you see, removable media, trusted relationships. Like you may trust a friend, they may be masquerading as that friend, and you may trust them, and that can make you susceptible to be attacked if you're not cautious. Execution, a couple things they can do here. They can use any of the APIs. So Windows have, let me pull it up for you so you can see. They have built-in APIs that can allow code to interact with the operating system. Okay, and a lot of times threat actors will write their code in low-level programming language like C, and they will use these Windows APIs to interact with the operating system. Now, and I'll give you a demonstration here in a few. Let's go back to this attack matrix. All right. So once they execute, they can persist, and we looked at persistence. We looked at an example of persistence, which is modifying the registry. So it could fall under this one. We can also do scheduled tasks, browser extensions, boot, login, auto start, privilege escalation. That's going basically from a normal user to like an admin user, because a normal user may have a limited set of privileges on their account. You want to escalate those privileges so you can do more. And these are some of the ways they may do that. Threat actor may go about it. Defensive agent. We talked about that when we modified a file. So that way it looks like it was a file that was created earlier, right? We can modify the registry. We can also clear logs. So we're gonna go over a couple of additional details or demonstrations here. So it's so many techniques: 20 for persistence, 44 for defensive agent, credential access. So brute forcing is basically if you have a password, you may spray it against a lot of different users, or if you have a lot of users, you may try a lot of different passwords. Okay, and that is a brute force attempt until you get a success. Now, a way that defense analysts can mitigate this is they can have lockouts. So you may have 3 or 5 attempts and then account's locked out. So that way it won't have a continuous iteration of password attempts going to that account. Some organizations don't have it, surprisingly, okay? But it's true. Discovery. So we're gonna go over some commands that we can run in PowerShell or command prompt to get information about the asset, users on the computer. Basically on the offensive and defensive side, it's all about investigation. You want to get as much as you can, because the more you have, the more you can do. So let's go over lateral movement. So lateral movement is basically, it's like going from one asset to another, and you can do it a couple ways. You can do it by, like we said, USB, like removable media. You can do it by sending out multiple phishing emails to multiple people. That way when they install the software, it's all over the network at that point, because it's on multiple assets. This is next one is collection. This is basically, you can capture information from the system. You can get information like email, screen capture, video capture. I'll go over that as well. It's similar to exfiltration. If you're taking it, command control. That's like we talked about. You may hear C2 as command and control. So a threat actor may have a C2 server set up on their account on their side, where they can remotely control your computer and you won't even know. They can log your keystrokes. They can take screenshots. They can send copies of your files over to them. So it's definitely something to be aware of. So exfiltration. A lot of times the C2 server will have exfiltration capabilities where it can you can send it over those channels. And a lot of times those channels are encrypted just for security, so that way the threat actor is not caught. All right. And last but not least, we have the impact. So this can be data destruction. This can be defacing the website. This can be stealing money, just corrupting or shutting down systems, whatever the threat actor goal is. Okay. These are key concepts to know in cybersecurity, whether you're on the offensive side or on the defensive side. The cyber kill chain and the MITRE ATT&CK framework. And I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna give you demonstrations here shortly.